All right, let's take a look here at resource hierarchy. So here on the right-hand side, I've pulled this graphic from the documentation, and this is a general representation, a generic representation of how you could organize your resources using those account level resources. But let's go through and define the most top level stuff that we're going to care about here. It's not going to include everything, but it's going to include 99% of the things we need to know about resource hierarchy. So the first thing is a resource. And when we say resource, I'm going to just refer to anything that's a service level resource as a resource through this course. These are the things that are used to process your workloads. So the things that you're deploying, again, servers, databases, cloud storage, whatever. Anything you're pressing a button to launch, it's likely going to be a service level resource. Let's make sure we understand resource management. So this is how you should configure and grant access to cloud resources for your team to set up your organization for utilizing account level resources. The top level thing is your domain. This is a primary identity for your organization. If you notice on the right-hand side here, it doesn't show the domain in that representation graphic, but it absolutely is there. But we'll continue to work through here. So it defines which users should be associated with your org. Universally administered policies for your users and devices linked to either a Google Workspace or Cloud Identity account. A Google Workspace or Cloud Identity can only have one org, okay? Then we have our organization. So this is the root node of your Google Cloud hierarchy of resources. It defines settings, permissions, and policies for all projects, folders, resources, cloud billing accounts for it at its parents. Organizations is associated with exactly one domain, right? So there's a very strong coupling between a domain and an organization. Using the organization, you can essentially manage your Google Cloud resources and your users' access with proactive and reactive management. Then we have folders. So folders are, I mean, they're exactly what you think they are, but depending on how you structure them, there's you can have better or worse kind of posture in terms of the way you organize your resources. And Google is very prescriptive in terms of ways that you can organize them. But the one on the right-hand side looks pretty generic here, so I'm not really sure if it represents any of the three that Google suggests. But we'll look at those here in a moment. But anyway, so yeah, folders are logical groupings of projects or other folders. Folders can be used to group resources that share common IAM policies. Then you have projects themselves. This is logical grouping of service level resources. This is basically always where you're launching your stuff into. And you're going to find, I mean, projects are okay. I think I like Azure resource groups better, but there is a limit. I don't know what the limit is, but there is a limit of how many projects you can have. And I always kind of find that, at least at my account level, kind of frustrating. They do take a little bit of time to spin up initially. But anyway, we'll see that as we work through the course here. Projects can represent teams, environments, org units, business departments. So between folders and projects, you have a lot of ways of isolating things. Basis for enabling services, APIs, and IAM permissions. A service level resource can only belong to a single project. And there is something here where it talks about APIs. So when you make a new project, and let's say you use something like Vertex AI, you have to turn that API on every single time when you go to a new project. If you're from the AWS world, basically you can think of projects as like being accounts, right? Literally being accounts. Whereas in something like Azure, if you enable something, it's across everything. And so it's just a different way of isolation. So again, if you're coming from those other clouds, you're going to notice the difference here. We have labels. These are used to categorize and filter your resources with key and values. They're great for tracking costs at a granular level. There are 3 suggested hierarchy architectures that you can use. They might have more now, but again, these are just whatever. You just have to decide what you want. But we have environmental-oriented, function-oriented, and granular access-oriented. We'll look at those separately in the next video, but there you go. I think there's a few things we didn't cover here, like organizational policies, but we'll cover those in separate slides, okay?